helps it grow. Sony doesn't have that, but something like Epic Games, which is a gaming thing, could definitely work with them, and I think they would. And if I remember correctly, isn't it like 20? Isn't it like a 8 billion or something?
Wait, what was they doing?
Like Sony and Epic Games. I thought it was a large some Sony and Epic Games. Oh, it was one. Sony has invested an additional 1 billion in Epic Games, which announced the company of a new 2 billion funding round on Monday. Had a minority stake in Epic, having invested 450 million in Fortnite Unreal Engine since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it's about 1.5. And what is this? 5%? I don't know. We'll see, because here's the other thing that hurts PlayStation, just like Switch, just like Nintendo. It's a Japanese thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like those types of companies are very strict.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think that's just like like American, and I think that's just because of the way society is. Like in America, it's such a capitalistic society that that's normal. That's not a big thing. For them, that's not something they want to work with because that's just not what their society's like, making it
Mm-hmm.
harder, and they don't like doing collaborations and stuff like that. I think of the two companies, PlayStation's more likely to, with them having more games that are crossplay, and with Xbox, not X, yeah, with like Call of Duty, like having crossplay and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think Switch is gonna have crossplay for Pokemon, and I think that it feels bad for Switch players because I feel like they're at such a disadvantage. Like I think Nintendo can do so much more. I think if
Mm-hmm.
they spent more time and made the Switch even more expensive, but made it a better console and not
Well, see,
just a
that's the thing. I
handheld.
don't think it has a problem with being a console right now. Like, I feel like that's the market they're aiming for right now. I doubt if they tried to go for an actual console, like putting a third console in the console wars. I feel like that's not smart for them because they're gonna lose. Like, no matter what they do, they're gonna lose. They don't have the games library. They don't have the resources to do that. Heck, I don't even think they have the funding to make as many consoles as are needed, as we saw by the last like Xbox and PlayStation shortage and stuff. I
Don't
feel
even get
like
me
if
started on that.
Nintendo put their chip in on that, they would have died. Like something bad would have gone down. Something they would have lost. Something.
Well, I'm not just saying like a whole thing. I'm just saying like making the Switch better to run more games
But you see,
and run games
I
better,
don't I don't know
like
if that's what they're
Minecraft
going
and
for.
Fortnite.
Because like obviously yes, they could put out a better version of the Switch, right?
Like Switch
Make it a
Pro or
better
something.
handheld and
What if they did that?
have
What if they
it
did like a
run
Switch
something
Pro
like I don't know
that's
Minecraft RTX flawlessly. Like if it were that level, then sure people would buy it. But I don't think they would have the money in their vault bank whatever to fund as many consoles as would be in
yeah.
demand. So even if they did that, I don't think they'd make it out. So I
I don't
feel
know.
like the audience they're aiming for right now is kind of suited to the size of their audience. Like they're
Yeah.
aiming for that handheld audience, people who want to play those Pokemon games, but don't exactly have all the money to spend on a huge console that can run all these crazy things. They just want to play those few Nintendo games that were big hits, like Zelda or Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then you get the bonus of playing something like Fortnite that has, crossplay.
I think it's something they can try, like a small attempt. Don't put like a full effort on. Like, what if they made it a limited release? What if they say they're gonna have like a limited console to try, and they simply say this is a trial test on a new console or something?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that? Like making a console, like think like Wii U,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they have the main console, the Wii, but then a portable version. What if they made something like the Switch, but like it stays in place, but you can still kind of like a Steam Deck, but it plugs in
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
a big good console that can still plug into the big TV.
Mm-hmm.
that can handle
I feel like if
more
they do something like the Steam
and
Deck did,
trial.
where people pre-register for the console, like the Steam Deck was not confirmed to come out, and they did not start production until they hit a certain amount of pre-registers. I feel like if Nintendo does something like that,
Yeah.
where they have a goal of like, okay, so we need to have 500 million pre-registers before we can actually start production, because then we'll know we'll make our money back on this project. Then once they hit that, they start production, they pump out the consoles, they go out to the people who paid for them, whatever. It'd probably take 2 years for those consoles to actually catch up and get out to people, but then they know they'd have a successful console, and
and if people like it, more people get it. And if they don't like it, well, they didn't lose too much money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna hurt them too much. It's only gonna benefit.
Yeah.
Because I really think that they could succeed in something like that. I think they're a big enough name, and like having that handheld for something like Call of Duty, I think that can do really well. I really like, because how many people, like the PSP, that was cool in the era. Not really something like that anymore. What's there for Xbox? Nothing really Xbox. I guess the Steam Deck would be the next thing, but that's kind of iffy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steam Deck, for what it is, it's good. But like, imagine something like that for the console games that can also run it better and smooth. I think I think Nintendo could do that.
Xbox is talking about already, like making Steam Game Pass compatible, like bringing Game Pass to Steam. So
that
imagine
would
they did that.
Oh
like
my gosh.
that would freaking crush everything. People would buy that and then pay for Game Pass. They'd have a handheld with Game Pass. Like that would
be
slay
insane.
Nintendo.
And that's what I mean. I think that's the other thing. If they did something like that, they're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Because those few people that would buy the handheld for like buying something like, why do I do that when I could just get the something like that?
Just get the Steam Deck and have Game Pass. Because it'd likely be added to the Game Pass bundle, right? You pay for Game Pass Ultimate, which is what we're paying for right now. Then you'd get your PC Game Pass, you'd get your console Game Pass, and you'd get your Steam Deck Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So
because the other reason I'm saying like Switch, like Nintendo would need to do this kind of thing, because I think they're gonna get hurt. Because like with mobile phones being so much bigger too, I can get more stuff on my phone now.
Yeah.
With with Warzone 2, and a Warzone mobile, like big games like that, like big games like Call of Duty are coming onto the phone.
I mean, here's an idea. With Nintendo gradually shrinking its consoles, what if Nintendo goes in the direction of like a phone or a tablet, right?
What if
they come out with like a tablet where there's all your Nintendo games, and this is like a full-on gaming tablet? Because the biggest community of gamers is mobile. Like, more than PC, more than Xbox, more than console in general.
No, for sure. It's definitely mobile.
So if they came out with a tablet that is not overly expensive, like say, like $400 or $500, right? That's cheaper than a home console, but a little bit more expensive than if you were to buy a normal dinky phone, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's where it would have to sit in order for price to work out. But it would be able to run all these games. You would have a sort of... They would have to have some sort of Game Pass, like maybe the PlayStation... Or not PlayStation.
It has a subscription.
Pass, right?
It has a subscription already.
It does have a subscription, yeah.
So they can just increase that.
Yeah, but I feel like that could really help them, like, diving into the world with the most gamers in it. Like, that could definitely make a huge impact on not only the whole gaming world, because then your 60% of gamers that play on mobile are going to be jumping over there and being like, ooh, I like the idea of this because it's something I was already paying for. Like, if I'm already going to pay $500 for a phone, why not get the gaming phone, right?
Yeah. I don't see a phone. I don't see it. But I do see a tablet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what if they mix the phone idea with Switch? What if they make the phone dockable? Right? It's a phone that you throw in a dock, and then, like the Nintendo Switch, it projects it onto the TV.
That could be possible, but I just don't know, because like all these phones are trying to be portless, and that's going to add a lot of ports.
I don't know. What if they make it portless? Like,
wait, what? I was about to say, I was just about to say Bluetooth. Yeah, just Bluetooth.
What if like wireless charging?
What if you don't even need a port?
The pad, or put it in the little dock thing?
What if you don't even need a dock?
Transmits it?
What if you don't even need a dock? What if they made an application that just
I don't know. I
connects
feel like it'd be
for like a
cheaper
Roku
for
TV.
them in order to make it a dock. Like make it a Switch dock, but don't have any of that wiring or stuff inside. Almost like a wireless charger. You just kind of set it in there, and then it wirelessly transmits.
What about like a Roku TV? Not to TV, but like the bricks that you can plug in.
Mm-hmm.
What if you just plug it in, like a literal plug, and that just sends the wireless signal? So instead of like,
that's what we call a dongle.
no, it's just
No, I'm completely serious. That is called a dongle when you just plug something into the phone like that, and it's just a brick.
No,
on
not
the
the
end.
phone. Not the phone. I'm saying you plug
Not
it
the
into the
phone?
TV. Like you plug it straight into the TV, and it just sends it straight to that channel, like an HDMI.
See,
Like
that
you
would be
plug it
kind of
straight
expensive.
in.
The reason Roku and them do that is because it's so cheap for something so weak. Like, you're not going to have your Roku putting out 8K 60 frames per second, right? It's going to be a little bit more dinky than any other console or thing that's going to be streaming your YouTube or Netflix or whatever. And
But
that's why they can do that, because it's a little bit cheaper. And if Nintendo did something like that, it's not going to perform well. Like, not with the technology we have today. They would have to do it at least 10, if not 20 years in the future in order for us to have that sort of technology.
But like, if they're playing games like
price
Pokemon and Zelda, like they're not going to be playing Call of Duty. Like they need 120 FPS. Zelda, not
they
Zelda,
would
like
minimum
Call of
need
Duty.
60, and the Switch struggles with that already. So if they're trying
Yeah,
to make
they'd
it
have
smaller
to.
than the Switch into a phone, you're just going to need better technology. So I feel like having a wireless dock is something they can do, but not a wireless transmitting like Bluetooth.
Okay. Yeah. What if it was a plug though? Like, what if it was like an adapter that plugs straight into the phone instead of wireless?
Yeah, I mean, plug is not out of the picture here. Like,
that
that's
could-
the
that
simplest option,
wired
the
connection.
cheapest option. It's a little bit more inconvenient than a dock, but I
Yeah.
feel like it makes
But
the most sense in terms of where they're at price-wise.
Price-wise, and it gives that better connection because you don't have anything wireless or like just straight to the TV.
Yeah,
I
feel
can
like
see that
that's a good
because I just think Nintendo's dying. Like the Switch is there and there's definitely a community for it, but like if something like the Steam Deck, that's gonna steal the little people that they have left. Do I think they're gonna die? No, I think Nintendo's gonna stay around for a bit because they're definitely, one of those OGs. They have they have assets like Mario, Super Smash.
I mean, here's the question though:
Zelda,
if they do die,
Pokemon.
where are those going? Like, is somebody
But
gonna buy Nintendo?
Because once Nintendo really dies out, assets like Pokemon are gonna keep going. People still like Pokemon's such a large
There's gonna be
franchise.
demand
Isn't
for that.
Pokemon
Like, if
the largest franchise?
I don't know. I know it's like
think it
way up
is.
there. At
It's
least
super.
top 10. At
I'd say
least.
top 5. I'd say top 5.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know top 3 because you have things like Marvel. Marvel.
I mean, I saw Microsoft already had their eyes on Sega because the new Sonic game coming out what's it called? Sonic Frontiers. They said in a blog post that Xbox is now the home for all things Sonic. So I feel like
which is
kind
of surprising because I feel like that's a PlayStation.
Sega.
I feel like
I would
PlayStation.
also say it's either Sony or Nintendo. Like I feel like that's the things I associate it with, not Microsoft.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they have their eyes on Sega already, they're looking at these older properties or their smaller properties that had their own consoles at one point. I feel like Nintendo might be on their radar for looking at. Like,
especially
if it
after
does
buying
die down
things
a
like
little bit more, they're
Activision.
definitely going to consider it.
And after buying something like Activision, buying Sega, Switch, like Nintendo would not be off the table. Now, would I think Nintendo would go with it? No. I think they'd really have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Would everyone want it?
Yeah,
but I just don't think. I think Nintendo's too picky.
A lot before they give up.
Because, like I said, like out of all the like you can't even do a free Roblox fun game for Pokemon without it getting copyright claim. Like I get like Pokemon Brick Bronze was making money, but I don't think Z Fighters was, and some of these other Pokemon simulators on Roblox.
Yeah.
They just all got copyright claimed. like would the Minecraft mod have been? No, the Minecraft mod would have been free, right?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have been making money from that either, and that got copyright claimed. Like they're just super picky and stubborn.
Honestly, they have to be because with the way that's working, if they can make money off of it, they kind of have to. Because if there is an off-brand Pokemon that is cheaper and on every console and it blows up, they're like, "Oh crap, you stole our idea, and now we're gonna die." So now they have to copyright claim it and get their money back.
I get why, but I'm saying that's gonna hurt them. I think that's going to hurt them because they're not going to work with other people. They don't work with people with their assets. No one's going to work with them for their assets, and they're just stuck in their own thing. And yes, they have stuff that works. They have Zelda and Pokemon. But what happens when people don't care about Zelda too much anymore? What happens when Multiverses, which I feel like will, outdoes Smash?
Yeah.
That's
They're just
two
gonna
of
be
their
relying on
massive
those two
assets.
properties
Those
to try
two,
and
which is
save them.
gonna kill them. It's gonna kill
Yeah.
them. Like, no matter how big Pokemon is, they cannot live off of Pokemon and Mario.
Pokemon, Mario, and Zelda, and I guess Animal Crossing are like the
Oh
big
yeah,
ones.
but that's still four. And you look at all these other ones, they have a lot of assets that if
Yeah.
one would die, like if somehow Minecraft died, if somehow Minecraft, one of those big assets that Microsoft's now known for, they're not gonna suffer. Will they lose money? For sure. Will they die out and the company fail? No. PlayStation. What's a big PlayStation exclusive haven't been as big as like
Yeah. I mean,
um
Spider-Man, definitely
Spider-Man. Yeah, if Spider-Man would die, they have plenty of other profits to survive. Again, would they hurt? But if Pokemon died, Switch is dying. Nintendo's dying if Pokemon died.
Uh-huh.
If one of those four assets just, other than Animal Crossing, I think they can survive without Animal Crossing. Because I don't think they make enough extra money from that. Like, there's so much other Pokemon movies and animes, right? For
Yeah.
Mario, you have, Smash and
See, that's the thing. I feel
games.
like Pokemon is kind of immune to dying because they have the cards, they have the shows, they have the movies, they have the games. Like it's across all media, so I don't think Pokemon, if any, is gonna die.
But I'm
I
saying, like,
see
if
maybe
one
Mario
of,
dying
but
first.
yeah, Mario or what was the other one we were saying? Zelda.
Yeah.
I think if one of those died, Nintendo's gonna die. I don't think they can survive without having those.
Yeah.
No matter how much revenue Pokemon is, you cannot be a studio that lives off of one revenue source.
Honestly, they should have jumped on those other consoles like Sega and Atari. They should have gone for
Yeah.
like all those older classics arcade games like
'Cause I think
Pac-Man.
Switch-
Imagine like an open world Pac-Man game. Like obviously that seems like a foreign concept to us right now, but
No.
if they manage to pull something like that off,
Don't you remember
then-
Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures?
oh god.
No, but actually though, like, what if it was something like that? Obviously not to that extent, but like we kind of seen it like a little bit with like the Pac-Man characters and stuff.
I mean, I
it
definitely
kind of
think
there.
like if they were able to
Having a show.
put their hands on those, bring stuff like
Sonic.
that out, they could.
If they had
would have
Sonic,
that,
they'd be
Yeah.
able to live a lot longer.
and
than
those
just
IPs,
being
those IPs
those
are cross
IPs.
media, like Pokemon. They're not
And-
gonna die. They have the movies, they have the shows, they have physical merch. Like
Yeah.
those are things that cannot die.
And someone like Sonic could totally fit in Smash.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I think the hard part for them is they have all their characters in Smash. They can't add too many more. They added Steve, but that's such a rare thing. Whereas Warner Brothers has how many characters they can add in.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to keep updating that thing for years to come. Because they're going to get more assets, make new movies to get more assets. Nintendo's not in the place to make a new game series that's going to do well.
I feel like today's world is just the IP wars. Like, nobody
Yeah.
can come up with anything new. You have to have an IP that already has a fan base, is already popular and making money, and then you capitalize on that. Like, what's the last new IP that popped up that like actually succeeded?
Like, IP is such a general thing.
Like, something that crossed out from its main world, like a show that got a game or a game that got a show, something like that.
I don't know, because everything's just been Call of Duty, Fortnite, or PUBG, taking other IPs, or something like Multiverses. That's been like the whole internet lately.
Thing is, those are already big IPs, right? You got
Exactly,
your Warner
yeah.
Brothers IP, you got your Fortnite, which is like every
IP,
You
yeah.
got Nintendo that has
IP
all
Infinite.
its big
No,
IPs.
I got Fortnite's IP. IP infinite.
Definitely. But like, there has been no new IP recently. Like,
I'm trying to
I
think of what I saw, but like with what you're saying, like I saw like just people running out of. It was a YouTube short about like original content, just like a movie getting copied over again. It's just they're
mhm,
running out of ideas.
yeah,
And that's why I'm saying, even for like cartoons, that's why I really think it'd be cool if like Pixar and Disney, not Pixar and DreamWorks would collab. Do you realize how that would make a new IP?
yeah.
Like Kung
It's
Fu
like,
Panda, that would make a new IP that would succeed, and they can make
mhm,
a lot of them with different movie series, like Toy Story. That did so well. They can
mhm.
make a new Toy Stories if they had DreamWorks in with them.
See, that's the thing though. Making a new like, I feel like that's kind of a hard touch point because even if they were to create something like that, there's already so much in their vaults of movies already that I feel like they just try and build off of something they already have. Like the way that Disney has been working in the past is okay. Let's remaster something old.
Like
Let's come out
Buzz,
with a yeah. Let's
like
come out with a
Lightyear.
sequel for something already like Toy Story 4, or let's start a new character in the Marvel universe. Like it's
Hmm.
either protected by a big name or is a
Like
sequel to an
Marvel
already
or
existing
something that
IP.
everyone loves, like Toy Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't seen anything pop up that was a big hit that is something new.
But I think if anything could, I think Pixar or Disney mixed with DreamWorks would. I'm not saying they will, but I think with how everything
It's
is,
possible.
that they have the best chance in our society and the internet at this point,
Hmm.
they would have the best chance of making something new that would succeed.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anything else making something new. Everything is just sequels and reboots. That's the
Hmm.
internet right now. Sequels
I
and
mean, look
reboots.
at freaking Naruto. Naruto big hit. Come out with Naruto
Shippuden,
Shippuden.
Boruto, and now
People
whatever this
people
other random
sort of
show
like
is.
Shippuden, not as popular. Then you come out with Boruto. People hate Boruto. It's like it's just an endless descent because the IP is getting dry. Like people are getting
Yeah,
tired of it. They want something new. Sure, make it in the same universe, which was exactly what Marvel did, but make it something new. I feel like
plenty of character.
the
Yeah.
only thing I can think of right now, and I'm not even sure if it counts, is Scarlet Nexus because that was a game, right? And then they got an anime. But I don't even know if that counts because that's not necessarily an IP because it's not a huge thing. Now,
I don't
if
know if that's
they made a
big
sequel to the
enough.
game and then a second season of the anime, then I think I would definitely count it as an IP,
Oh yeah,
and it'd
for
be a
sure.
big IP that Bandai Namco would hold.
Mhm.
And that's something that was new, something completely unheard of that just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then here's where it overlaps. Then somebody buys that IP so that they can make profit. Instead of making something new, let's buy an IP that's already making profit. That way we
Yeah.
don't have to do the work to come up with something. I feel like that's what would happen.
The internet's getting too big. Like actually,
Yeah.
like there's so much creativity on the internet that there's so many characters that any character that you like it's like music. Have you ever seen the things where it's like, "Oh, here's an original melody. It's from this song.
Mhm.
Oh, it's also from this
Yeah.
song and this song and this song." I feel like that's how
Yeah.
IPs and characters are. There's a there's an like everyone jokes there's an anime for everything. There's going to be something for everything that you think of.
Hmm.
The internet's just that large. And I just don't I think it's just making it too hard, and I don't know how. Like, do we want to see new IPs that succeed? Yeah, but how would you go about making a new character, a new superhero in a world of Marvel and DC? How would you make a
Hmm.
brand new superhero that doesn't relate to any of the other characters? Not just big ones like Superman, but any other characters in Marvel or
It
DC.
would be very hard to come up with something new because almost
New,
everything's
because
been done.
everything's been done, and it's annoying, but like I think that the only thing we can do is take IPs that aren't big and bring them back, like small heroes that had like a one-off comic series or something. Bring them back. Now we have a
Yeah.
new hero, new
See, that's
quote-unquote
what they're
IP.
doing. Moon Knight, he was not huge, and then they bring him back for a show. Here he is. Now he's in that
Yeah,
huge spotlight.
yeah. But I think a lot more companies need to do that. another DC character after they fix it.
I mean, people were saying with the Blizzard purchase, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of smaller IPs that they now own that they could make sequels to. Like they could make sequels to those games, come out with new spin-offs to some of those other games. Like it's still
like imagine making another
piggybacking off of
Overwatch.
original IPs, but
Like
you're
with
coming out
Overwatch,
with other things.
with Overwatch 2, they could totally make another Overwatch game.
Yeah, what if they came
Other
out with
than
like
from Overwatch
Overwatch for lack of complexity, Overwatch story mode, right? You come out with something
Yeah,
a lot
just
more
something.
story based, something with a campaign for players to play through instead of it being like a PvP based game.
Yeah. Because I think like they'd have the profits for that. Call of Duty, they don't gotta worry. That has plenty of assets, with Black Ops and Modern Warfare and characters for stories. They have plenty of assets to.
Yeah.
Would they rearrange it? Maybe they might change the story up and this and that, but they have plenty of assets to work with from the years that Call of Duty has reigned supreme. Even when it didn't do well, that's still plenty of assets they can work with. What's the other ones? Was it
Troll Hunters?
Don't get me
Sorry,
started.
that's
so
an
sad.
IP. That's an IP.
Oh, that's true.
That's
Yeah, they
an
had a
IP
lot of
that popped up,
shows.
completely new, no base whatsoever.
And it had like
and
3
exploded.
sequels.
3, yep.
Three or
it
four
had
sequels
4
and a
seasons
movie.
in the original show, then the
Mhm.
sequel of 2 seasons, and then the third show with 1 season, and then the movie. And it had
Yeah.
merch, and it has a game technically as well. Not huge, but it's a game.
No, it's still an asset.
but
Still an asset.
that's an IP that popped up out of nowhere that's now huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I guess I don't know how recent that is. Wasn't like Troll Hunters like 2017?
Well, it ended like last year. Like the
Last
arc
year?
ended with the movie.
Really?
I think it was last year. Yeah, 2021. I think that's
don't
when the
think
movie came
so.
out.
Three Below. Wizards since 2020.
That's the show.
Yeah. So we had the Tales Wizard. Yo, when are we getting the Dragon Prince back?
Right? I want to see some more of that.
I saw a Monopoly of that the other day at Barnes and Nobles.
What?
Yeah, like they had like a Naruto Shippuden, like they have a Monopoly for everything.
Yep, 2021, Rise of the Titans.
Really? I don't think I've seen this one then.
The movie? You haven't seen the movie? The ending? The conclusion?
I don't think I have.
Wait, so then what's the last thing you remember seeing?
The Wizards. The fight with
What-
Merlin.
Hey, yo!
What?
You haven't seen this yet?
I guess not. Literally none of these promo seems familiar.
Oh, So you don't remember any death whatsoever?
I also haven't seen Wizards, which is over 2 years at this point now. Like, I saw Wizards, but that's over 2 years ago, so I don't remember it fully. That's why I forgot about Troll Hunters. It was a cool show, and I loved it, but it's just not something... I don't think it's something I enjoyed enough that I go back and watch 7 times through.
See, I kind of was forced to enjoy it. See, I found Troll Hunters. I was the first person in our family to watch it. I watched, like, the first season because I was...
Oh, and then you had to
watched
watch it
as
with
soon
your
as it came
family.
out. And then I showed it to my brothers, like, hey, this looks cool, guys. Let's watch it. And then he watched it over and over and over and over and over as the more shows came out and over and over. It's like, okay, a little bit repetitive, but I really enjoyed the show. Great
No,
style,
I'm not
great
saying it's
story.
bad. No, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was good. It's just not my type of thing that I would watch as, like, I'd watch it once, and, like, I am the type of person that maybe I watched the show when a new show came out. Like, I watched the like, when season 4 came out, I watched the whole show again. That's the other thing. When I watch shows, I watch the show over and over when a new season comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So I
This
have
is
seen a
definitely
lot of
something
it.
I think I would go and watch again. Like, maybe in
Actually,
a couple years
but
after it's less
but now that you've
less on my
talked
mind.
about it, like, that is something, like, when was the last time I've watched the original Troll Hunter?
Uh-huh.
That came out in 2016.
Yeah. Holy crap. No.
Original Troll Hunter, 2016.
No.
That's six years.
Oh my
So that's why that
gosh.
wasn't really the first thing to come to mind.
Hmm.
Uh, but that I now that you mentioned there's a whole movie
Yeah.
apparently, that's definitely something I might watch and go back and watch because it was good. The
Yeah.
whole dark, the different
Yeah.
characters, yada
And big
yada.
surprise here too. That was DreamWorks. So
Exactly,
know.
exactly. Like I'm saying, if something were to break the seal of like these IP, it would be DreamWorks with mixed with Pixar.
Yeah.
I think those are the most creative movies studios out there right now.
I think I feel like media right now is in a limbo kind of where like when they go to create a new IP, they're banking too much on pleasing people that they're not taking enough risk. I feel like what Troll
Hmm.
Hunters did is they took the risk, okay, let's go for something obscure. Let's put Morgana and Merlin in here. Something that not a lot of people like watch or consume commonly in media. But it hit that niche where it was a kid's show, so people watched it and enjoyed it. But it hit that niche where okay, there's magic in here. Let's bring in all the wizarding
But
lovers
there's
in
also
here.
aliens and sci-fi.
There's also aliens, so bring in sci-fi. We got your
The primal, like,
yeah
sorcery, not like
your
magic, but like because those are
your
some of the
medieval
villains,
stuff. You got
right?
your medieval stuff in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But then you also have your relatable story with a modern day kid going through school and stuff, having
But don't
to
forget you also have
hide away from his
fantasy like the
family.
trolls. That's
Yeah, you got
fantasy.
your
That's a
fantasy
whole
in there. It's
other
like you're crossing so many worlds together where
genres.
it was definitely a risk for them to take, but I feel like it was such a smart risk for them to take in that
Yeah.
moment where everybody is not willing to take these risks. Like Disney, for example, is banking so much on trying to please like
Hmm.
LGBTQ communities, Black Lives Matter. They've stuck so much on that in their recent like
I don't think
outings,
the
like the
LGBT thing is as bad. Like I don't mind it, but when I like the whole Captain America Falcon thing,
yeah
that's when
that
I
they're
because the
definitely banking so
LGBT
much on
that's
the
not
world
too big. Like
matters.
yes, they're trying to make everyone happy, and like
Hmm.
I don't see a problem. But when you're getting super
Hmm.
political, that you have to make a character, the whole premise. Because with LGBT, are they making
Hmm.
the whole show based off that? No, it's just a gay character.
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. But right now, it's just a gay
Yeah.
character. That one, the whole show
Uh-huh.
is about Black Captain America. That was the whole
Yeah.
show. That was the whole
Hmm.
show.
And I feel like
And
they weren't
that's why I didn't
necessarily
like it. It was too political
yeah.
for me. It was too
All they
political.
need to do is include that stuff, but not address the fact that they're including it. Like
Like
include your
having the
black
gay
lead roles,
character,
include your gay character, but don't
but don't
address
make
it.
the
Don't like
everything
try and
about it.
hey, this is the spotlight, guys. Look at this. We're trying to please you. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of like Troll Hunters, for example, hit that mark, right? It had some black characters in there. It had their gay characters in there. But it
Mhm.
wasn't trying to spotlight that like something like the Dragon Prince was. Like they were very much trying to spotlight the LGBTQ stuff. And I know that's when they lost a lot of their viewership is when that when that hit Netflix. So I don't know. You, you just have to be able to take that risk without trying to appease people.
Yeah.
Kids shows are also just a great media to try and do that as well because
Mhm.
there's going to be an audience out there for every kids show no matter what you come out with, evident by Baby Shark. Like you got like all these Netflix shows, you got Dragon
Mhm.
Prince, you got Last Kids on Earth, you got like other obscure animated shows that not everyone's seen. Like I don't know what Wish Dragon is, but it's good enough animation. You got your How to Train Your Dragon spinoff. You got things like We Can Be Heroes, Next Gen. Like there are things out there for everybody, and they're gonna be
Next
kids
Gen
that
was
watch it no
good.
matter what.
I liked Next Gen.
Hmm. But yeah, kids media is just the best way to do that, and then have it grow. Something like Gravity Falls, it's a kids media, definitely a kids media, but if you understand, it's definitely
Yeah.
not a kids media. And I feel like
No.
Troll Hunters also hit that mark where it's a kids show, but
But if you really
adults can have
understand, it's
such
so
a
dark and
appreciation for
like
it because
the
there's so much more to
seriousness
it.
of the severity of the conflict and stuff.
And I feel like a lot of that is due to the fact that they had an actual author working on them with this story. Like, what is it? Something Del Toro, right?
Whatever. I have no idea. But
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
Sure.
He's an actual author that wrote Troll Hunters the book, and then he came on and worked with them on every single one of these shows. I feel like
Those
that.
stuff like that will always succeed. It will
Yes,
always
if you
succeed
get an
when you
author
get it.
on to help you
Not
write,
just a
it's
author,
going to do good.
not just a author, the author.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yes,
they
definitely.
have when like you look at like I said like One Piece. Let's take One
Mm-hmm.
Piece for example. The original anime, love it. Like I've said so many times before, I think I've showed you like the crocodile versus Luffy fight with the classical orchestra accompaniment. Great,
Mm-hmm.
right? They made a lot of movies. And do you know how many of those movies did well? Not a lot. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what good movies, like I talked about Stampede, do you know who wrote the story for that? The writer for One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
When the writer for One Piece started getting implemented on movies, they did much, much, much better.
Yeah.
When you get the writer of the show, and not just taking the assets, but when you get the writer of those assets to make the standalone or sequel or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, it will always do better than just
And
taking the asset and just making their own story from those
yeah.
assets.
And a new thing very evident to that is the Percy Jackson stuff. Those movies that absolutely flopped, the author was not involved. But
Exactly.
the show that's coming out, the author is now heavily involved. And
And
it's
I
already made more money than the movies. They're not even out yet, and it's already made more money.
Exactly. So anytime you get an author to make like, and I don't mean that for like video games too. Like I don't want the creator of Halo working on Halo. I don't think that's
Yeah.
necessarily needed. But like when you're taking like books like Troll Hunters or like the Hunger Games, when you have big book and IPs like that, you need the author to help you with the movie, whether it
Mhm.
be heavily involved or at least get their approval and maybe like change a little bit of the story points. Like the Maze Runner. Did you ever read or watch the movies?
Yeah, I've seen the movies.
You know I hate the movies, right? I don't know if
Right.
we've talked about this. Uh, the first movie, okay, has characters from the third book.
Okay.
Like the third book, like important characters of the third book that were introduced in the third book are in the first movie. Or how literally it took about a third or half of the book to meet the female, right? Meet her in the first 30 seconds. The pacing, like this, it just wasn't believable. A lot of the time, it's just really weird. Just like how they went around with it. Like one part that I really liked was in Scorch Trials, they made it out of the maze. They go and they meet there's this random house in the middle of nowhere, and that's where they stay. They have food. Then all of a sudden, there's just this random guy sitting there eating an apple. And he's like, "Let me finish." That's a really important part of the story, showing like who these people are. That's not in Scorch Trials or Maze Runner or anything, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or anything even similar. Like, it's one of those things where, was it a decent standalone movie? Yes, but when you read the book was so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hunger Games, however, I think Hunger Games did match it well enough. I think the Hunger Games to the books did do well enough. There's certain parts, like obviously, like in the movie, we didn't have Haymitch throwing up on himself,
Yeah.
and then PETA's like taking him to clean up. We didn't have stuff like that, but like for what it is, I think it did really well, and I think that's definitely a big IP
Mm-hmm.
for what it is. Whereas like the fact that there's a new book, that's how big it was. They came out with a new book. Did anything happen with Maze Runner? Is there like I don't remember. I wonder how good the Death Cure did. Do you know if it flopped or not?
I don't know. I don't. I definitely think it was definitely a downhill slope for the Maze Runner movies. I think the
Yeah.
first movie, obviously, people were hyped, like, "Ooh, this is a great book's being
See, it
turned
has
into a movie."
43%
And
on
then
Rotten
people watched
Tomatoes.
Yeah, and then second movie did a little bit worse, and then third movie just like absolute flop.
Okay, it made 288 million, but I don't know what the budget was. Let's see.
My guess, 200.
62.
Okay, so not too bad, but
I thought
definitely
it was
not
gonna
as
do
good as
worse.
an IP like that should be.
Yeah, I feel like and I think I don't know. I don't think there's a chance for any more books for the Maze Runner.
Hmm.
It's still a series I haven't finished. It's just because I got like halfway, like I got over halfway. There's a prequel and a prequel.
Hmm.
I don't know if you knew that.
Don't think I did.
Um, where is it? Okay, I don't have the books right here. Oh wait, no. They're somewhere, but like there's the Maze Runner, Scorched Trials, and Death Cure, but then there's like two other books that's like the prequel to like the creation of like the flame whatever the illness was that caused the whole problem. And then there's another book on the creation of the experiments.
Yeah.
Like a prequel and a prequel. It was weird. But like I don't think they did well enough those books in the movies definitely, but like again for Hunger Games, it did well enough. It had so much assets that it came out with a new book. Did you know that too?
No what?
There's a fourth book in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, yeah. I listened
Yeah.
to it on Audible.
I have the book, and then I made 2 chapter reviews, and then I didn't read.
It was not a bad book. I
No,
liked it.
I just can't read. It was really good. I just can't read.
Definitely. I feel
Um,
I also can't read.
Yeah. Here's another book series though that like I think the Maze James Dasher. He's who made the Maze Runner and the Scorch Trials. What's the fastest you've read like a solid book? I'm not talking like a 60, like a solid full like length book like the Maze Runner or like a Hunger Games. What is the quickest you've read a book like that?
See, having not read many books, the closest I can get is Minecraft: The Island, and I read that in about a month.
Okay, I'll give you that. It took me about 2-3 weeks to read the Maze Runner. I read the Scorched Trials in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only book that I've ever come close to that. Even books like the Mockingjay, like the third book of the Hunger Games, loved it.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever caught my attention that much to make me read that much, ever.
I mean, I've listened
nothing
to
ever
audiobooks.
will.
Like, I've binged the audiobook before.
I don't
like,
know if I can. Yeah.
What's a good one? I know Hunger Games. I 100% sat up at night listening to those just to get through them because I love those books. Those are great.
Yeah, those are great stories.
Black, Red, and White by Ted Decker. Those ones I absolutely love. Those are thick books as well. Those are long
Yeah.
ones, but
I don't know.
I
I
love
think
those books.
I get what you're saying. I think the audiobook versus reading is a little different.
It definitely is, but that's just how I consume
that's
books
just
'cause I can't read.
I just don't know because most of them you have to pay for, don't you? You probably have like an Audible.
Yeah, we have like a subscription that gives us two
Yeah,
books a month.
I don't have like enough like interest
Yeah.
to get something like that. But another series that I need to start the first book and finish. James Dasher, like I said, only book I've ever read in a week. Love the series. Did you know he has a second series? And I think
No.
actually you should read it. I think you'd like it. The first book is The Eyes of the Mind or something. Here. Yeah, The Eye of Minds. It's about like a virtual reality world where he has to go in and this guy, a kid who's pretty good, has to go save and travel through the back doors and like the opening in the code, he has to literally go through that to this back door open like Matrix type zone, like breaking out of the Matrix to fight this dude who's like a murderer, like, and he's hired by the FBI or type thing. It's like really sci-fi, really cool. It's a lot of games like one of the games, it's been a while since I read it, so I'm trying to remember. There's like a Civil War game. It's only allowed for 18 plus people because it's the proper like Civil War. Like you go in, you kill somebody, you die, and because it's like it's not like think like Sword Art where you go in, like it's a full capsule. That's what it is. It's not like a headpiece. You literally go in the capsule and it can feed you. It can stay in for days and days.
Yeah.
It's a cool series, and there's 3 books to it. The Morality Doctrine. That's the name of the series. Look into it. Like maybe read some summaries. Maybe if your Audible or whatever subscription has it, try to listen to the audiobook. But
It looks pretty cool.
yeah, it was a cool concept. Again, I just can't read. Like, just can't read. And now I'm not going to be reading for a long, long time because all my love for reading will very much die after college.
Yeah.
Very much.
That's okay. You can just consume more video game stories.
Okay, JJ, here's a question. Jaden was telling me, and I don't know how I feel. Is there like a hidden lore to Fall Guys, and is it good?
Um, there's no confirmed lore. Like, not like Fortnite has lore. There's like, hey, we're game theorists and we're trying to stretch the lore. But like,
Okay,
I
so
wouldn't know much about it.
if there was, do you think it's good?
Probably not.
Jaden was I was telling Jaden like there is no way there is good deep lore in Fall Guys. There is zero way, and he was telling me yes there is, and I'm like no, no, I don't.
What if there's a second 0 point in Fall Guys? There's a second 0 point and those guys are trapped in the loop as well. That's how we're getting all the collabs pulled in, is because, you know, there's another 0 point that's fractured, pulling in from different realities.
I don't know how I feel about that. But
I
would
mean,
it be?
considering the fact that it's owned by Epic, I would not put it out of the picture.
No, I'm just saying like having like 2 0 points, and also would it be a 0 point or would it be a 1 point?
Sorry.
But like,
Well, what if it's a fragment of the 0 point? We already know there's
see.
fragments out there. What if a fragment went
Mhm.
into that universe and that's what's bringing in all these collabs?
2 Fall Guys.
2 Fall Guys, and that's what's keeping them in the loop, is that small fragment of the 0 point.
I could see it. And if they got another big asset, like what if they got something like what if Epic Games did get something like a driving game, right? But then what if they got big collabs like Lamborghini and Ferrari?
Yeah.
But there's a fragment, the 0 point in there to get collabs.
They're
I'm just saying,
that.
like, what if like
Rocket
just
League.
like that could explain why.
Rocket League has.
Oh yeah, I guess
Lamborghini
Rocket
and
League.
Ferrari.
Yeah. What if there's a fragment in there?
Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. Because,
What-
you know, there are antennas with Rick and Morty stuff on there, Portal stuff on there. Like,
Mhm.
there are collabs in there.
What if there is like actually a second 0 point that's completely shattered?
Oh my God. What if Epic Games is setting up like a cross-media universe here with Fortnite? What if Fortnite is the building block of their media empire? Right?
Of their
What if
shows, of their
everything
movies,
Epic
of their
does
games,
from
of their
here on out
comics, of
is
their
based off the 0 point. Like, if they come out with a show, it's going to be, hey, this is a reality created by the 0 point, or it's going to have a character that's in Fortnite because
0 point.
that's a 0 point clone. Or like, I don't know, what if they come out with a comic and it's that comic exists because something in Fortnite happened,
Like
and,
Earth 616. This is
Yeah.
Fortnite 121.
Yeah. Like, what if everything they do in the future comes back to Fortnite because of the 0 point?
I can see that.
That would break the internet, dude. Like,
For,
having
what do you mean
everything
that would break the
connected
internet?
Epic.
Doesn't Fortnite break the internet on a weekly basis, either by it lagging or by it doing something like Dragon Ball?
I mean, yes, but like, think about it. If it breaks the gaming world right now, it broke the anime world with that. It's broken the movie world with Marvel. What if
broken-
it breaks all those worlds again permanently by coming out with its own of every single type?
I mean, I again, it has broken the not just all media with the black hole. Remember that was on the news and everything.
Yeah.
So it has the possibility, but like, okay, so I'm trying to think of timing. When would something like that happen? Because it's not something they can randomly do. That would have to be like the start of a chapter. But even then, that seems too big for a chapter thing. Like that's just so massive. Where do you put something like that in Fortnite time? Where do you put that?
What if the Epic Game Store becomes not a game store?
Fortnite store?
What if it becomes the Epic Store, right? Just Epic storefront in general. You have a streaming service on there. You have a book library on there. You have, like, I don't know, your comic library. You got your news media, like, everything on there. What if Epic just turns into a storefront for everything?
Okay.
because that would be the first of its kind, right? Disney
For sure.
has stuff like that, but it's not all linked together. It's not one
No.
storefront.
There's
Disney has
plenty.
movies, Disney has games, but Disney does not have a front for those for those movies and games.
Like,
So
you know,
if Epic
Avengers
did
is on other
something-
consoles and stuff like that. The
Yeah, if Epic did
comics,
something, it would
there
be
is a
on
Marvel,
Epic
but yeah.
storefront, like only Epic storefront.
But again, like, even then, like, I feel like Fortnite's too big. They'd have to line it up with Fortnite.
Yeah, like Fortnite Chapter 4 comes out and something huge happens with the 0 point. It now unfolds and we are given all these different types of media, right?
But
We are
even
now
then,
given anime, we are movies, books, comics, all that all at once, all on the Epic Store.
but even then, I just feel like something like that is too big for a chapter. Unless, what if it's like a 5th chapter, 10th chapter thing? Like
Or
chapter 4, but like
what if-
chapter
what if
5
they
or
pull an
chapter
Overwatch?
10.
what if they go
Fortnite
2 and it's just an update in reality, like another season, another chapter, but it's Fortnite 2. It's
And
big
it's-
enough to justify something like that.
That's what
But
I was about to
it's
say.
not-
Like,
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of other than like a big like because it has to be something. But what's after the chapter? A whole new game. Fortnite 2, Chapter 1, Season 1.
Yeah.
How would the version of that go? 20. Would it be point 21.1.2?
Well, at that point, I don't know if they need to save the version 1.0 anymore, so they could just delete everything.
Well, no, because like people would definitely get pissed if they lost their locker. Like they're gonna have to keep a lot of those.
No. Not like that. Like they're saving map states and game states and like stuff like that. That's what the 1.0 and 2.0 is. They're saving those game states. They wouldn't have to keep those anymore if it's a whole new game and there's no chance of those going back. So they just delete those and start over with one.
I can see that. The only other problem I'd have with a 2.0 is like they have so many assets. Would they transfer that over?
What do you mean?
Would this be like an update, like Overwatch?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I get
it'd
the
be-
account
it'd be
would
an
merge.
update like Overwatch, and you'd still have
Okay.
everything. It would just be a whole new game like Overwatch is doing.
Okay.
Like, just imagine the screen we're seeing right now no longer exists. It's something completely different. Like the bar along the top, no longer there. Maybe we have two screens. It's our Epic storefront and our play button. And we just look at our battle pass and everything through there. We can look at our competitions for every game through there. And then our little battle pass quests thing no longer there. Like, I don't know, maybe there's only a few game modes, but they're on like a weekly/daily rotation, so that we're getting stuff constantly. Announcements tab would just be Epic announcements now, not Fortnite announcements. Like, it would have to be
Maybe.
something completely different that doesn't
Yeah.
look like this, because otherwise it could just be passed as a UI change, and I feel like that would be annoying if it's Fortnite 2, but in reality it's just a UI change. They would have to severely change everything. Which I hope that's what Overwatch is doing, right?
What do you mean?
Is Overwatch changing everything, or is it just a UI change?
No, like you know how there's different classes like support, battle, like it's now 5v5 and there's only one Titan. They're changing certain characters to other classes. Like I think Bastion's now a Titan, or not tank, not Titan, tank, and balancing certain characters. One character doesn't have a shield anymore; it has like a spear. They're changing it up, balancing it 5v5, whole bunch of other stuff. No, it is more than just a UI. It's still Overwatch, right? It's still that fundamentally, but it's definitely different enough. There is some UI changes. The graphics do look a little different from what I've seen from some of the beta gameplay, but it is very much worth a 2.0. The other thing is the whole free-to-play. I think a lot of people have been thinking that what's going to happen is it's going to pull like a Fall Guys. They're going to keep the same currency, but they're going to add another currency that you have to pay for, and that's how you get the skins and stuff. But no, yeah, it's more than just a UI. It is very much worth a 2.0 from what I've seen and heard.
Yeah.
And we're only going to get more from the beta after getting the feedback from the beta. So we'll see.
What if Fortnite 2.0 becomes more of a a battle royale instead of a shooter royale, right? What if those melee weapons come in and we have a whole new category of melee weapons, but guns are now severely nerfed? They do way less damage, so that you're discouraged from using guns as much, so that you're encouraged to use melee weapons. So you have one side of your inventory that has like maybe 1 or 2 guns, and then you have a sword and like a shield in the other slots, right? So
What
then
if?
you can push up with your gun and then start attacking with your sword and shield.
See, I very much am against that for what Fortnite is, but that could be a cool LTM. That could be a cool limited time mode. Because I just don't see.
I get that, but I think if we're talking about Fortnite 2,
But even then, I don't think
change.
something like that completely making guns almost obsolete because you need melee weapons. I just think that's too big of a change.
What would you think then? What huge gameplay change could they make to make it not feel like the same game anymore? And I'm not talking map change. I'm not talking new loot pool, add new weapons. I'm saying, what is a huge gameplay change that they would make?
I mean, they could do, like, what if there was magic? What if we had spells?
Kind of like our abilities, like the Kamehameha now.
Kamehameha, mix that with like dungeons or something. Like, what if we had items, like magic items that could maybe do support? Like, what if you had a support teammate? What if you had a teammate that not like you have to choose a role, but what if I have like 2 spells that heal and make us fast? Right, and it's a spell that uses mana. And I have infinite uses, there's a cooldown, there's a mana bar, that type of thing. And maybe when I kill players, I get mana back. Because then you have to be aggressive.
Maybe you could enchant weapons, right? What if like your
like attachments
or like a special kind of toolbox
attachments, but it's magic.
Like, okay, so this I want to enchant this scar with flame 1. So like you're doing an extra 2 damage per bullet that is fire damage. So if I'm shooting at wood builds, it's gonna light it on fire after like 3 or 4 bullets. But then I'm also just doing excess damage to the player I'm hitting.
See, that's something I can see Fortnite going with. I just don't see them taking guns and not making them as good and doing melee weapon. That could be a cool LTM, but I just don't see that as the core.
Like,
yeah.
If you're gonna think of something to change, that's the first thing there.
But yeah, that's just also too big. But magic could be something that could be possible. Because what if there's a third game mode? What if you have zero build, and what if you had a magic game mode? Yeah. Where, yes, you still have guns.
Spellbreak is hugely popular right now. That's a magic battle royale. Like, it has a community. Imagine they add magic and Spellbreak dies. Everybody's coming over to Fortnite now.
What if
for their magic battle
What
royale.
if they had a whole magic battle royale, and that's where the melee weapons are? What if there is no guns in that? You use something like an ice blast, like
melee.
Magic and melee. That totally seems like a 2.0 thing. Like, zero build's cool.
Awesome.
Like, zero build is cool, a cool concept, but that definitely fits like a new season type thing. Maybe if I felt like that could have been a chapter thing. You know, maybe chapter 1 or chapter 3 could have started with that, and but I get why they waited for the story wise. But something like a whole magic, because zero build, that's just a simple concept. You just remove building, okay? You do challenges, all that. Magic though, having a whole completely different loot pool with magic, with melee weapons, having all that new content of the spells, the support spells, the attack spells, the mana system, the melee weapons.
Yeah.
And like think about like rarities, like a common fireball. It'd almost be like a Mario, like you throw a little fireball. But then like the legendary would be like Sasuke's fireball jutsu.
Yeah, like a huge
like it increases the
builds, builds on fire, knock back the player, something humongous.
For a legendary. Same thing, because right now it just increases damage. For something like spells, it would change the spell slightly.
But maybe the higher the rarity, the more mana it takes.
Exactly.
So that adds in a meta of like, do I carry the common fireball so that it takes way less mana and I can spam it, or do I pick up the legendary fireball and do more damage, but
only get like 2 uses before I'm out? And like another thing I'm thinking of, what if there's ice? What if it freezes you? But what if the legendary suffocates you and you're frozen? You're starting to take damage from that.
Frostbite or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so pissed because you know this is not happening.
It's not happening. But Creative 2.0.
I mean, Bro, do you realize if I saved the last hour and uploaded it of our conversation,
Oh my gosh, bro.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.